Tell me what has kept you in Malden all your life. Has anything ever prompted you to go somewhere else? And
No, never. No.
why is that? What's here that keeps you here?
Oh, just the water and fish and that. Go fishing.
Can you try and describe for me your sort of love of the sea and the coast then?
Yeah, I get in my little dinghy down there. I go up that way to Beeley. And I've got some eel traps up there. And, I get fun just looking at them, even if there's not any in there, please myself when I go up and that. I try and go up now about once a fortnight. Yeah, get me tea, eels, yeah, and a few golf balls. Because the golf course is right there, and then you get...
You can't eat those though, can you?
No, nearly got hit on the head with a golf ball one day, So, yeah.
Tell me what it's like catching your own eel and eating it.
Oh, smashing they are. But I don't like them jellied. I either like them grilled or a stew. Yeah. But the wife won't eat them. She, turns her nose up at them. Yet she had cooked me a stew, for me, but she won't eat it.
Do people not eat eels as much as they used to now then?
Well, there ain't so many about now, for one thing, but I think they, still demand for them, though.
So was there a day when lots of people were out catching eels, and are there fewer people now doing it?
Well, yes, of course there was a lot more fishermen in our earlier days. I don't know, I can't remember exactly how many smacks used to lay down there.
18,
About 18 smacks, you see, used to lay down there, and they all used to go off down the river, down Pont as it was known in those days, and earn a living, and we're all contented to sort of stay in their area and earn a living like it. There's no drive as there is today to get out and see the great wide world and see how other people live. They were contented to remain within their own little community.
And what sort of fish, shellfish, whatever, what sort of things were caught from here?
Well, all sorts of fish, skate, herring, and they go dredging for oysters as well. Well, they did do. Now it's more or less finished.
And the eels?
Eels, well, I'll say I still get one or two for me tea. And I went last week and got a few flounders. Yeah.
So is there any fishing from here at all now?
No.
All the boats have gone.
All gone. There's an oyster firm, they got Goldanger Creek down there, where they buy small stuff in and lay it down there to grow. And there's about 3 people work there, and that's all there is in the river now.
So when would have been the fishing heyday in Malden?
Anything before the war, before 39.
Before 39, yes, up to about 39.
Quite a few boats there then, went out and got a living.
So what led to the decline? And
well, everything's got less in the river, fish and everything,
When we talk about the river, we're talking about 14 miles down to the mouth off Bradwell, and they used to go down there and out by the Bench Head, which is a buoy about 4 or 5 miles out from the Sales Point, and trawling for all types of fish.
now Essex as a whole did have quite a significant fishing industry, but even though in some parts of Essex there are small pockets of fishing still, it's much less than it once was. What do you know about the Essex sort of contribution to fishing as a whole?
days gone by you're talking about?
Compared to now's, yes.
Yeah, well, I think that an awful lot of flatfish anyway were caught off the Essex coast. Soles, skate, as Cecil says, plaice at times, and all shipped up to London. Well, now, of course, with the various EEC and regulations, they've gradually squeezed the small man and made it less and less worthwhile catching fish. There's so many regulations and paper certificates required today that it just doesn't make it worthwhile.
Sorry.
I was trying to say, do you agree, Cecil?
Yes, yeah. At Mersey there's one or two boats now.
That's about the biggest
yeah,
the biggest fleet is at Mersey.
Yeah.
There's a few boats down at Canvey Island and Leigh-on-Sea as well.
Yeah.
They do cockling mainly down there.
Yeah.
So there would have been a time when a lot of the coastal communities of Essex, perhaps as you say before the war, had quite a few boats.
Oh yeah, yeah. So there was anything up to 18 down here, got a living out of it too.
That's quite right, yes. There's, you see them go away on the tide perhaps in the morning when the tides were right and come back again in the evening and had a good day probably. Or because it's very much a luck really. I mean, this fishing is whether you happen to find the shoals or not, or where they are, lying up somewhere. You're hunting. You see, you're literally finding it and trying to find them, and when you get them, you're well rewarded.